What's up everybody, welcome back. Surprise, we do not have a KOTOR centered video today. Taking a bit of a break from that, we're waiting for some news to come out about upcoming character releases, and in the meantime I'm able to put out these videos talking about the Sith Raid. You guys have been asking about these updated video guides for quite a while about the Sith Raid, so I'm going to start off with an updated top 10 Zetas for the Raid. This is the list we had from last time. You can see very heavy focus on Night Sisters up top. That's going to change around this time, and we're going to see some new introductions here. We've had quite a few new characters come out that have really bolstered the old teams that we saw before from the beginning, or we're going to see some brand new characters that have been introduced into the game, or new teams that have been pushed up because of new characters in here. So we're going to focus on all that today, and before we go any further talking about the Sith Raid, I want to talk to you guys about remodding. You guys know Pimpo, I have advertised for him before. He does a very great job. He will go into your account, take a look at your mods, and then he will rearrange them according to what either he recommends or what you are looking for. So if you're looking for a focus on something like the Sith Raid or something for Territory Wars, he will remod those accounts accordingly to what you're looking for there. So I highly recommend you reach out to him. There's contact information as displayed here in the advertisement. You can reach out to him on Discord or email. I highly recommend you guys try him out. There's been several glowing reviews from people who've tried him out in the past, so definitely take a look at using him to remod your account. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and start breaking down this list, and let's start at number 10. Coming in at number 10, we have Aurra Sing Zeta on Sniper's Expertise, and with this Zeta, if the target is toppled, the ability's cooldown is automatically reset. This is a forward turn cooldown, so pretty long cooldown, and having this reset is a pretty valuable Zeta. But you do have to keep in mind this is only for Phase 3, and this used to be a much higher ranking. In my old video, you guys may notice I had it at number 5, but over time we've seen other new teams either be reinvigorated or just new teams rise up, and this one has kind of fallen down the priority list. So it's still a pretty good Zeta for the Sith Raid, and you can also use it in the tank raid if you really want to, but also do keep in mind that if you do invest in this Zeta, you will not find much use for it outside of the raids because you don't have anyone who gets toppled outside of those areas. So you are going to get some pretty solid damage with your bounty hunter team. You can get at least a 5 or 6 million phase 3 score with this team, but there are better teams out there for phase 3 now, which we will be covering those much later in this video. And this means that her Zeta here is just not as important as it was before, but it is still a very valuable Zeta if you're looking to maximize your score. And coming in at number 9, we have Hermit Yoda's Strength Flows from the Force. With this Zeta, his ability cooldown is reduced by 1, all allies recover 20% protection, and Jedi allies gain foresight for 2 turns. Very great for your Jedi teams, especially since we have seen some really good Jedi teams of late. And this also makes him very useful for teams outside of the Jedi because that 20% protection regeneration is not dependent on a certain faction. Anyone gets that 20% protection regeneration. So you can use it in the Beast Mode team where you have the Thrawn with Wampa, General Kenobi. That kind of team works great. Basically, you can plug and play Yoda in a lot of different teams and use him as your sort of emergency meta healer because of that protection regeneration. It's really a good idea to just kind of plug him in and really help keep your team survivable, and that is why I recommend this Zeta. It makes him a very, very flexible character for the Sith Raid and really helps fit in a lot of slots where you're going to need someone who can really help top off your team and help keep them alive until the Enraged phase. Coming in at number 8, we have Mission Vow Zeta, Me and Big Z Forever. Once per turn, mission assists when Zalbar uses an ability. Now, this is a very, very interesting Zeta because it actually means that anytime that Zalbar counters or is called to assist, she will then automatically assist Zalbar, and this is very deadly, especially once you start getting this team going and you get that forced taunt and counter on Zalbar. He'll then start countering, and then because he's taking damage, both Zalbar and Mission are gaining stacking offense. So you will eventually get to the point where Zalbar is getting 2 or 3 stacks for Armor Shred on Scion in Phase 2, and then Mission will start hitting for 150,000 damage on Scion, and that could be huge chunks of damage. With this team, I've gotten 6.5 million with this team before. It is a very deadly team in Phase 2, and this Zeta is just an overall nasty one, because with the Zeta, she will end up being at least half of your team's damage in the end. This one, it's definitely a big number Zeta, and it's a very, very satisfying payoff. And here we are at number 7, BB-8's Roll with the Punches Zeta. When BB-8 attacks out of turn, he will call a random Resistance ally to assist. Resistance teams have become a very big thing in the Sith Raid again, thanks to C-3PO. We've seen a resurgence of the JTR team, and surprisingly Finn, which we'll talk about that here in a moment. But with this Zeta, combined with the mass assist from 3PO and JTR, you can get a lot of usage out of this Zeta. You can get a lot of exposes, a lot of tenacity down or dazes, anything like that. This Zeta is very, very helpful with those resistance teams because you're going to get at least a third attack whenever JTR uses her special and you call BB-8 to assist, and depending on who attacks, you can get some really good usage out of it, like maybe you can automatic expose from C-3PO being called to assist, Resistance Trooper could possibly throw an expose on his basic, and with the JTR lead could throw in another expose too. The assist with BB-8 here combined with all these synergies makes this a very valuable Zeta for your resistance teams, and it's very recommended for them. You don't have to have it, but this is one of those Zetas where it gets to the point where you get so much damage boost because of the Zeta, it's incredibly highly recommended. So this is one that I definitely recommend that you guys use, and you are going to get a lot of use of this outside of the Sith Raid too. It's a very solid Zeta overall, but here for the Sith Raid, it's also really, really nice. And here we are at number 6 with the Zeta unique on Asajj Ventress Rampage. It basically gives her a guaranteed turn meter gain whenever an ally or an enemy is defeated. She gains an additional 5% bonus offense and crit chance whenever someone is defeated. And she also gains a bonus 5% max health until the end of the encounter. This one is great for your Night Sister teams. Night Sisters are still one of your only really solid teams for Phase 4, and with this, you are going to get a lot of damage out of Asajj because Zombie is going to be taking a lot of hits and dying constantly between Scion, Traya, and Nihilus. That Zombie is going to be dying a lot and really helping to bring back that bonus damage with the constant revives, and Asajj is just going to become a monster on the field. This one, you definitely have to have it if you want to look for those big numbers with your Night Sister teams. You can still do a pretty good job without it, but if you're looking for that full solo of Darth Nihilus in Phase 4, this is a Zeta you really gotta have. Number 5, we are now halfway through the list. Han's Shoots First ability. With the Zeta, he gains additional 10% crit chance, and the first time each turn Han uses his basic attack, he attacks again, dealing 50% less damage. Now, I did not have this on the previous top 10 Zeta list, and that is because you were getting outperformed by other Phase 3 teams like the Night Sister Cheese team and the Bounty Hunters, but thanks to the introduction of Chewbacca, you are seeing the Chex Mix team rise up again, because Chewbacca with his guard ability allows the Han Solo team to be very easy to manage again. You don't have as much reliance on RNG with who gets isolated and dazed and whatnot. This allows the Han Solo with the Chex Mix team to become a very easy team to use again. You're still going to see a nice boost of damage because of Chewie anyways, and with the Death Mark from Death Trooper and the double hits from Han, you're going to get some pretty nice damage, and really this run only takes 4 or 5 minutes, so a good 3 to 4 million damage in 5 minutes, that's a very easy trade-off. And here at number 4, we have one that you could easily call controversial, the Finn lead with the Zeta Unbalanced Tactics. Whenever a resistance ally loses Foresight, they gain advantage for 2 turns, and whenever an enemy takes exposed damage, that reduces the cooldown of all resistance allies by 1 and grant them 35% turn meter. Now, before we go any further, I want to go ahead and address it. Yes, CG has said that they are going to be reworking this leadership because you have the problem right now where you could easily solo Phase 3 with the Finn team with a mixture of Rebels and C-3PO. And while, yes, I do think that means overall we're going to see an effective reduction in the use of the Finn Zeta, they have also mentioned in their rework for Finn that with the new leadership, you're still going to be able to do at least 20% of Phase 3 with the Finn lead, and probably even better as we get some teams mixed and matched out there. So I feel comfortable in putting this one on the list. It's not going to solo Phase 3 in the future, however, you're still going to get a very solid return on it. So I do think it's safe to put the Finn lead with or without the rework on it here on the list. So it may move down once the rework comes on here, but I don't really see it getting knocked out of the top 10, and I do think this is still going to be a safe Zeta to put on the Finn team. So I know some people are not going to be happy with me throwing this on here since it's going to be reworked, but I do think that with the rework coming here soon and how well they say it's going to perform and doing the math, it seems to really line up. I think that the Finn Zeta lead with your Resistance teams are still going to be very solid for the Sith Raid. And coming in at the number 3 spot, JTR with her leadership ability, Inspirational Presence. When Resistance ally uses a special ability, all exposed enemies lose 5% turn meter which can't be evaded or resisted, and whenever a Resistance ally uses a special ability, reduce their cooldowns by 1 if they are not debuffed. Now I did just have Finn at number 4 here, and I'm going to have JTR here at number 3. We're going to see a little bit of overlap between them. We have 2 different Resistance leads here, but you do have enough of a difference between the 2 teams that you can use certain characters on different teams that you don't have to then really focus on just one Resistance team. I mean, Resistance Trooper will fit into either one, and JTR with her leadership, she's going to be one you're going to use in phases 1 and 2. And Finn is going to be one that's more focused towards phase 3. Now, with this JTR team, this is your go-to phase 1 team, especially with C-3PO. You can push 10 million damage with this team in phase 1, and you get some pretty significant damage with them in phase 2 as well, at least 5 million there, not as much in phase as you would in phase 1, because Scion in phase 2 does not lose turn meter. So this team is a great one to go for a lot of damage in phase 1, still very solid in phase 2, and that's really helpful, a team that you can use in multiple phases, and that's why this one's so high up on the list, because this team is just so good, and you can use it in different phases. And here we are at number 2, we're almost done. The Leadership Zeta on Asajj Ventress. Night Sister Swiftness gives an additional 25% turn meter reduction chance, additional 10% turn meter reduction, and Night Sisters gain 50% turn meter when they fall below 100% health. This one is pretty much required to run your Night Sisters in the Sith Raid in Phase 4, and with this you are getting pretty much the only reliable Phase 4 team that we still have in the Sith Raid 1 year later. This team, with the Zeta and including the Zeta on Asajj, you will have the ability to knock out Darth Nihilus on your own before the bosses hit Enrage. So you can easily clear out Nihilus, and then, you know, that's a third of Phase 4 already done. But the big thing here comes with the bonus turn meter when they fall below 100% health. You have the constant damage from Bonds of Weakness, and you have a lot of healing abilities between Daka, Talia, Night Sister Zombie. Asajj can also heal. There's a lot of healing going on with your team, and this allows your team to constantly gain that bonus turn meter because they're taking damage and healing it back up. This allows them to go very fast and get a lot more hits on Nihilus and constantly reduce his turn meter. So this is a highly recommended one. You have to have it for these Night Sisters to work in Phase 4. So if you're looking for one of the Zetas to really invest in for your Night Sisters, this is one you gotta go for. And finally, here we are, number 1. We all knew who was going to be Pow with his Zeta. I mean, do I need to say more? This is obviously the best. What do you mean this isn't the right Zeta? Oh, Sorry about that. Apparently I was given the wrong list about the top 10 Zetas. Here is the real number 1, and it should be no surprise to anybody. The leadership on Jedi Knight, Kevin. With this Zeta, the Jedi allies, they gain bonus protection, and they deal bonus damage when using their basic, and they also have the ability to reduce max health, but it doesn't really matter with the bosses here. So the ability to regenerate that protection and deal that bonus damage on the leadership, that is more than enough for Jedi Revan, and this is the team that you can pretty much throw into any phase of the Sith Raid. Phase 1 and Phase 2, Phase 3, you can deal 10-15% easily with a Jedi Knight Revan-led team in there. The Jedi teams under his leadership just deal so much damage. It's a no-brainer to have this at number 1, and yeah, I know it's Revan, and he's still a very hard character to obtain for most people out there, but that should not and does not detract from the fact that this is easily the most powerful Zeta for the Sith Raid. It just dominates wherever you plug Jedi Revan in. So this is a no-brainer for this number 1 spot. and it's obviously one you should focus on anyways, regardless of the Sith Raid or not, because let's face it, it's Kevin, and Kevin's just all-powerful right now. All hail Kevin the all-powerful. So that is an obvious shoo-in for number 1. So here you guys have it, your list of the top 10 updated Zetas for the Sith Raid. Let me know what you guys think about this list. Do you guys think I missed someone? Do you think someone should have been brought into this list instead? Give your thoughts down below. As always, guys, I hope you all have enjoyed this video. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. A big shout out to all of my patrons for their donations. You guys are the best. And as always, guys, I will talk to you all later.